Have you noticed that Panin and Kakra are very different from Abina and Boko, our older children? Mrs. Abam asked her husband Kojo one sunny Saturday afternoon as they left the market. Years ago. Amidst a raging thunderstorm on a very boisterous night and in a quaint town clinic in Ghana, a set of twins were born to the humble Abam family. Rain pounded on the windows and doors as Madam Keesi, the town midwife, known for her tender care and meticulous skills, assisted in their delivery. The Abams were delighted to welcome and have their hands full with their newborn twin girls. They were very happy with the family of 6 they had become. As the years passed, and as the twins grew, their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Abam, began to notice something amiss. The twins were vivacious and adventurous, always seeking new experiences, while their siblings were introverted and loved spending hours lost in books. The Abams initially attributed these variations to natural differences between siblings. However, the nagging suspicion that something was not quite right persisted. And as Panin and Kakri grew older, the differences between them and their older siblings became more pronounced. Their personalities were strikingly different from those of their siblings, who displayed characteristics more in line with their own parents. One evening, around a fire pit in their backyard, the Abams discussed their observations. "Kojo," said Oma, his wife, her voice filled with concern, "have you noticed that the differences between the twins and their siblings can no longer be denied? It's almost as if I didn't give birth to them. As if they're not related to us." Kojo nodded, his face reflecting his own worries. "I've been thinking the same thing, Oma. It's been bothering me for a while now. It's as if they come from entirely different backgrounds," he said as he sipped his drink. Oma let out a sigh, her eyes mirroring her husband's concern. "It's been on my mind for some time now. Maybe we should look into it." "I agree," Kojo replied. But they didn't get round to doing so as fate seemed to conspire to unravel the truth about their suspicions. 2 months later, during a chance encounter at their village's annual festival, where indigenes gather, celebrate, and unite in vibrant tradition, the twins' physical likeness to Mrs. Owusu, the wife of one of the richest merchants in the city, was so pronounced that it raised suspicions and prompted further investigation. The uncanny resemblance was glaring. They shared striking physical similarities that couldn't be denied. They had the same almond-shaped eyes, the same dimpled smiles, and even their laughter sounded eerily alike. Those who noticed it remarked how it seemed as though the twins were her mirror images. Then, Mrs. Owusu, who had noticed the undeniable resemblance, herself dropped a bombshell. "I have a set of twin boys who look just like Mr. Abam, your husband, and I promise you that we have never been lovers," she said to Mrs. Abam as she stared at Kojo, Mr. Abam. After a lot of back and forth, they discovered that they delivered their babies at the same clinic. In shock and disbelief, both women decided to take action. They confronted the town clinic where the twins had been born, demanding answers. It was then that the truth came to light. The whole truth. On a boisterous evening several years ago, amidst a raging thunderstorm in the quaint town, 2 sets of twins and not one were born in the town's small clinic. The first set of twins, boys, were born to the humble Abam family. Rain pounded on the windows as Madam Keesi, the midwife, assisted in their delivery, her dark thoughts hidden behind a comforting smile. Their father, who was on his way from the next town where he worked, had been held up in the weather. Known for her meticulous skills and tender care, Madam Keesi, however, harbored a dark secret. A desperate desire for wealth that had led her down a treacherous path. The second set of twins, girls, were welcomed into the opulent Owusu family. But Mr. Owusu, the twin girls' biological father, had desperately wanted a son, an heir to his fortune, after having 2 daughters with his wife, Abina. He discussed his desire with the midwife, although he never mentioned it to his wife. The midwife, Madame Keesi, who saw an opportunity to profit from his desperation, and tempted by the substantial sum offered, had carried out the deceitful act. She had been in the lives of both mothers, unbeknown to them. She saw 2 radiant women, carrying the promise of 2 lives each, cradle their growing bellies with hopeful smiles while embracing the beauty of impending addition to motherhood. This didn't deter her from perfecting her plan, while hoping that Mrs. Abam at least births a boy twin. That evening, as Madame Keesi held the newborn twins, her heart was torn between greed and compassion. Her sinister plan took shape as she decided to swap the twins, delivering the Abam twins to the opulent Owusu family, while bringing the Owusu twins to the humble Abam home. Madame Keesi, the trusted midwife, had switched the babies at birth. She had suddenly become the sly midwife with pockets lined with gold, the one who surreptitiously gave the switched twins to the wealthy bribing father as the night responded with another round of thunderstorms. Madame Keesi, who had been living with the weight of her deceit and racked with guilt and remorse, confessed her actions to both mothers, revealing the shocking swap that had occurred at birth on that rainy night, and for monetary gains. Everything that had been thought to be a great idea, the unthinkable decision executed with a deft sleight of hand and assisted by social standings, was revealed. The revelation shattered both mothers and the situation became fraught with emotional complexity. Conversations were tense and heart-wrenching as both of them, along with their husbands, grappled with the consequences of the actions taken years ago and the moral dilemma they faced. Devastation swept over both families as they grappled with their reality. But as they got to know their biological children, they couldn't help but appreciate the values and strengths instilled in them by their adoptive parents. The twins had grown up in vastly different worlds. The Abam twins, raised amidst luxury by the Owusu family, enjoyed a life of privilege and sophistication, attending the finest schools and living in a grand mansion. Meanwhile, the Owusu twins, brought up by the Abam family, embraced a modest upbringing filled with love and close-knit community values. After much soul-searching and counseling, they made the extraordinary decision to maintain the status quo. They became 2 families bound not by blood alone, but by a shared history, love, and profound acceptance of the unique situation they had found themselves in. The family's decision not to separate the twins was a poignant twist, one that bore positive fruit while fostering a sense of unity and love between the 2 sets of siblings. The town, initially shocked by the scandal, witnessed a remarkable display of forgiveness and reconciliation as the young adults thrived in their newly blended family. All is well that ends well, they say, as troubles and trials gave way to a happy way forward. Smiles replaced frowns, and peace prevailed, reminding us that adversity can lead to contentment and the love between parents and children is not limited to genetics. Madame Keesi, on the other hand, faced the consequences of her actions, not only within the town but also within herself, as she grappled with the guilt of her past deeds. Her tale served as a haunting reminder of the destructive power of greed and the importance of the bonds that connect families, regardless of their origins. Meanwhile, things got better with the twins. 2 years after the discovery, the Abams and Owusus held a joint birthday celebration for their young adults. Friends and family gathered in a beautifully decorated garden, sharing laughter and stories. Mrs. Owusu approached Mr. Abam with a warm smile on her face. "Kojo, it's incredible how our children have grown." "Indeed, Akua. We've come a long way since that day at the hospital," he nodded in agreement. "I often think about how our lives would have been different if we hadn't discovered the truth." Yes, it's been a unique journey, but one filled with love, she responded. The twins, now successful young adults, graduated from university. As both families beamed with pride, the twins expressed their gratitude to their parents. You've shown us that love knows no bounds, and we hope that our story is a reminder that family is defined by love. Thank you so much. The story bloopers are most certainly Madam Keesi and Mr. Owusu. The latter didn't get away with anything, by the way. I promise you that. Stories by African Girl. Kindly like, subscribe, leave your thoughts, click on the notification bell and share our videos too.
Thanks for watching and see you next story.